"I've brought your breakfast," she said after a moment. He turned around and smiled, the same beautiful smile he had given her the first time they met. It felt like a lifetime ago. "Hello," he said, putting down the chisel he was working with. "You've got 2 boiled eggs, a slice of bread, and a mug of tea," Effie said, bringing the plate over to him. "What are you making? Oh, that's incredible." Toni had made a wooden dog, the limbs and head threaded with thin wire which ran up to crossbars. While he removed an eggshell, Effie skillfully made the puppet walk around the bench top, dropping its head occasionally, as if it was sniffing. Then she brought it over to his mug and lifted one of the back legs. They both laughed. It was a good act. In truth, their hearts were breaking. "It's meant to be Nip," Toni explained, "but I couldn't actually make it look like him. Just tell Hugh that it's Nip, and he'll be even more delighted. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you," Effie said, putting the puppet carefully on the bench. An awkward silence fell between them, and Toni struggled to find something to say. "The egg is good," he ventured. "It's still warm? Yes, it's lovely. I tried to find you as quickly as I could so that it would still be warm. It's perfect. A cousin of ours is coming over today to take away the remaining hens. There aren't that many left. They've been tasty." They fell silent again. Toni drank some of his tea and then cleared his throat. "I've made something for you, but it's not quite finished, so you can't have it just yet," he said. "What is it?" "Well, it's not a puppet." Effie smiled, but her lips started to tremble, and a huge tear ran down one cheek. "Toni," she cried, flinging herself into his arms, "what am I going to do without you near? I'm going to be so lonely, and I'm frightened." "What are you scared of?" "I can't fight off a feeling that something awful is going to happen." He knew exactly what she meant, although his fears were based on the knowledge that he was going to try and break out of a POW camp that evening. He would have to avoid being shot by an army patrol while hurrying through the dark to meet up with a German spy before getting into a U-boat and facing the hazards of the sea. He was terrified at the utter madness of it all. But as he stood, holding Effie, next to a boiled egg and a wooden puppet of a dog called Nip, thoughts of the night ahead could so easily be dismissed as nothing more than a dreadful nightmare. "Nothing bad is going to happen," he said, trying to reassure himself as much as her. "We just have to be brave and face the coming weeks and months as best we can." Effie sniffed. "I don't even have a photograph of you." She pulled back and gazed up at him. "I'll keep the image of that beautiful smile of yours in my head forever," she said, stroking his cheek and smiling. "Well, that's as good as any photograph." Effie nodded. "Now, I should let you get your breakfast, otherwise you won't be able to finish my present." And with that she turned and left. Walter woke early that Thursday and began his final preparations for the night's events. First he went to the vestry and removed the small suitcase from the safe. The latter now contained nothing more than a few church documents, the communion plate, and the collection from the last Sunday service. Walter added what money he had, as it was no longer of use to him, then locked the safe and hung the key from a hook on the wall nearby. Once in the kitchen, he dismantled the receiver transmitter, breaking it down into the smallest components possible, which he laid neatly on the table. Walter often chopped wood in the back garden using a heavy axe loaned by Mr. Ross. Selecting one of the set's crystals, he went outside and placed it on the chopping block. He took up position, pausing to adjust his stance, before bringing the flat end of the metal head sweeping down. The impact reduced the glass to powder, leaving only a few splinters. Satisfied, he went inside to fetch the remaining parts and battered them until they were completely unrecognizable. The broken parts were thrown on the midden, and the tangled metal left by the garden gate, where it would eventually be taken away by the travelling folk. When he had finished, there were only a few dozen screws left, so he added these to the old toolbox under the stairs. Walter chose dark, warm clothing for the evening, including 2 thick woolen jumpers. He wouldn't be wearing a jacket or coat. The open suitcase held one more object, fixed to the inside of the lid.